Nico Hoerner is really starting to like come on. Like now that he's healthy, because it seemed like he was working in like people got to remember, and I even had to remind myself of this the other day too. Nico Hoerner is pretty damn close in terms of number of games played to a rookie still. Like,
yeah,
he hasn't played that many games at the big league level. I'm actually pulling up some exact numbers for myself right now here because like he is just scratching the surface, and he's come back from this injury. A 3-hit game in the win on Saturday over the White Sox, a 3-hit game in the early game today. I mean, he is just coming.
4 hard hit balls too. He could have had 4 hits on that game.
Absolutely, just spraying the ball all around the freaking yard. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Nico Hoerner's played a career 147 games. He's still a rookie. Technically, if you talk a whole MLB season, like this guy is just, I think he's really just starting to scratch the surface. I think he's going to be a player that if this team, like I want this team toward the end of the year to start giving me some like 2014 feeling where, right, we started to see Javi Baez, Chris Bryant was just tearing it up in the minors at that point. Anthony Rizzo was really starting to come around at the MLB level. Like, there was at least excitement for the future, right? There was something to look forward to with that team. It wasn't like we're still 4 years away. It was like, hey, maybe next year we actually have a shot. And he's one of those guys. And yeah, little Yumper right here in the comments took the words right out of my mouth. He is shutting up a lot of naysayers because he's playing incredible defense at shortstop. He is starting to hit the ball around. And I think the power is going to come. I don't think Nico's ever going to be an elite power hitter, but that's okay because if he's giving you, he almost to me could become like, and I'm not saying the exact same player, but I'm saying this type of player of like a DJ LeMahieu, right? Like, LeMahieu can give you some power. He'll give you 15. Maybe in a really good year, he gives you 20. But that batting average is always, 300? You know, it's up there. So if Hoerner's a guy that can consistently hover, around 300, maybe a little above 300, he's giving you, the extra bases because you said it, the hard hit balls. He's probably one of the – I don't know the numbers. I don't have them in front of me. But I'm willing to bet he's in the top 3 for the Cubs this season in terms of hard hit balls. It's probably him, Wilson, and maybe Seiya.
I think Wisdom's up there too.
Wisdom's got to be up there too. But that's probably your top 4, right? Like realistically,
I haven't looked at it in a couple days, but yeah, I mean he's been smoking the ball, especially lately, man. Like Nico, this is the thing. I was just talking to a buddy about this the other day too, who doesn't believe that he's a shortstop full time, like moving into the future. Maybe he's not, right? Maybe he's not. They talk about the arm strength and all that. We've seen him, though, make a ton of plays in that hole, that jump throw. And, yeah, okay, it's just a jump throw play, like a one-off play that he does every now and then. But, like, the arm strength is good enough to make those throws.
I was going to say, I think his arm strength deceives a lot of people.
I think it does, too, because I honestly, this is, it's me, like, with a theory. But I think that him putting on all that strength that he did maybe a couple off seasons ago, I think that really built up his arm strength too, obviously. I mean, if he builds up the bulk strength, which is also helping with the power, like you said, he's not going to be a huge home run hitter, but a guy that hits near 300 with like 12 to 15 home runs as a middle infielder, dude, I will take that all day long. And I actually wanted to pose this on Twitter as a poll, and I might still do this later tonight. But do you think that Nico hits 300 or better, like finishes the season as a 300 or better hitter? Because I'm kind of leading, like I'm thinking that that's what's going to happen if he stays healthy and like, these setbacks. Obviously, it didn't affect him this last time when he got hurt and then came back. He's just like on a mission right now and actually boosted his average way up. But yeah, man, this is a guy that's for the future, I think. Like, he's not a guy that's just a placeholder for this season. He's going to be a legitimate guy in this lineup somewhere, wherever it's going to be a short second. You were talking about it a little bit the other day of, like, him and Chris Morel moving around potentially as you start to sign some other guys and bring guys up. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely a possibility because he's versatile enough to do it. And it's really fun to see him and even Morel, who – man, this guy, just a spark plug at the top of the order.
Again, guys that can put together good at-bats and bring a presence about them, you get excited about those kind of guys. Hoerner and Morel would be an incredible middle of the infield, at least for the foreseeable future, in my opinion. And like just going back to Nico here too, I got some splits for you real quick here. In his last 7 games, Nico Hoerner is slashing 400, 429, 550. In his last 15, he is slashing 314, 327, 471. And in his last 30, he's hitting 306, 333, 429. Even his last 30 games, where you could argue he was a little cooler and maybe that earlier part he was just starting to get going. I mean, he's still a 750 OPS player for a guy that's not going to give you – he doesn't walk a terrible amount. I think that's like the one thing about Nico that you could argue keeps him from just being a little bit away from like that 900 OPS kind of player. But even over his last 7, he's doing that. He is a 900 OPS player. He's hitting 400 right now. Like I said, his last 3 games, he's got 2 games in the last 3 with 3 hits. I mean, he is just a pleasant bright spot on this team. There are some bright spots. There are guys that give me enjoyment watching Cubs baseball still. Like, it's not
100%, man.
Doom and gloom. But just like again,
that's why
they shoot themselves in the foot.
They do, and that's why like I hated that I was upset earlier in the game or like towards the end of that game when the Cubs had the bases loaded, nobody out. Nico Hoerner pinch hits for I think it was Alfonso Rivas at that point in the game. Which, dude, okay, yes, it was a borderline call, right? On the outside, could have been a ball, probably was a ball, but he was called strike 3 on Nico. At that point, though, with nobody out, you need contact with the bases loaded there. And I hated myself for being upset with Nico because it's like, I know you're cold off the bench, but you need to protect in that situation. What we've seen from Nico, though, all season, he's a guy that, like you said, he doesn't take his walks. He will protect the zone. Like, he's a guy that'll put the ball in play. So I can't really be too upset with him because there's still, even with that at bat going down looking, there was nobody I would have rather seen in that situation up to bat with the bases loaded and nobody out than Nico Hoerner. So it's like, you can't be too mad at that. Like, there's so many things to be positive about.
Yeah, and just here in the comments too from Lil Yumper. Remember, people believe that Jeter was a defensive wizard. He wasn't. He was just serviceable. Nico's more than serviceable, and I agree. I think again, Nico
great comp too because Jeter was known for those jump throws, but he was actually horrible. Like, his range was bad. Nico's getting to these balls and making these jump throws, that balls that he probably shouldn't be. That's why his outs above average advanced metrics all look really fucking good.
Yeah, Nico has been a pleasant surprise. Certainly something positive that we can get behind.